What's going on, guys? Hope you guys are doing well. I'm on Heligoland Bight on the CTE that just got released today, January 12th. So that's pretty exciting. We've had a chance to play the two new Turning Tides maps that are coming out this month. So the one I haven't got a chance to play is this map, of course, Heligoland Bight. Seen a little bit that there was some closed testing that went on a couple weeks ago, but now that we have a chance to try it out for ourselves, this is a pretty cool map for the overall experience I've been having so far. So over there at the very beginning, laying down torpedo fire on the enemy players, just getting ready for when the tank hunter class spawns on this side. I think it spawns around like the 4-minute mark, so I'm just getting ready to pick that up so I can basically do a lot of damage on the enemy players. So when this map was out a couple weeks ago for the closed testing, it didn't have any of the texturing. They had the white box testing going on here, so we're getting to see a little bit more of the finished product. And I'll tell you what, there's one thing about all these maps I think everyone can pretty much agree on. I think they all look absolutely amazing. So this is a very large map for the most part. As you can see, that we have our 6 flags that we can capture, and a lot of it is just in the water gameplay. I've yet to actually try to go out of bounds yet to see how far the water takes me. You know, obviously you could probably get a good feel for it where your home quarter spawn is at, but for the most part, when I'm playing and driving around, I'm not really having any hard times like staying in bounds. So definitely a lot of water to play on. And as you can see in the top there, we have both our behemoths in. So got that behemoth versus behemoth gameplay, and I noticed everyone was looking forward to having a lot of that going on. And so yeah, it's definitely, for the most part, there's a lot of, you know, boat gameplay experience that I've been experiencing. So I'm glad that they put more of those boats on there than what we were doing previously, because yeah, even when I've been playing it for the couple games I've got to play on it, I haven't even really experienced you know, anything that felt like too overwhelming of boat gameplay. So I'm definitely really happy that they added some more boats like the behemoth and an extra destroyer on the map. I think originally they had planned to only have 1 destroyer per team on the map, but they added an extra one, so you can have 2 destroyers on the map per team each time. So there's a total of 4 destroyers, so it's definitely pretty cool. Now for the couple of games that I've already played, I tried doing a lot of boat gameplay, but I wasn't really doing all too well with that, and I kind of figured that the majority of my gameplay probably on this map will be actually with the tank hunter class. So this was actually the first game I was actually trying to go at it with the tank hunter class, and just basically laying fire on everything that I could, mainly just focusing on the vehicles. However, though, I'll probably tweak my gameplay a little bit as the retail version again comes down and I use this class, just because you just run out of ammo really quick if you're trying just to blast the dreadnought over and over again, as you see that I'm doing here. And you know, unless you have a good support class that keeps resupplying you, you know, you're gonna run out really quick, and you might want to maybe lay more fire on things that could be a little bit more relevant to the gameplay, like attack boats that are maybe pushing to an actual flag, and not maybe the dreadnought that's kind of on this game. At least they kind of stayed back at their home quarter spawn a lot. So that was mainly what they were doing this game, and they weren't really as relevant as they could have been. And I just kind of ran out of ammo pretty quick, and even though I got some help a little bit later from a support class across the map, it's something you do want to keep in mind. Now there is one other elite class on the map, and that is the infiltrator, and I did make a video on all the spawn locations for this map and the other map that's coming out in Turning Tides, so feel free, if you want to go check that out in the annotations, you can check that out there. However, no Villa Perosa. I mean, we had seen a little bit of that going on with the first closed testing that happened a couple weeks ago, and that was definitely an interesting elite class I thought would have been on this map, especially when I started to do the math on how many players could be in boats at a time. And when you really think about it, you know, there's 4 players can be in a destroyer and in a dreadnought. So you know, if you have a full destroyers and dreadnought on the map, that takes away 12 players in boats. You can have your airplanes, and you know, you can have them all the way up to having, you know, bombers with multiple players in it. But let's say you only have you know, 1 person each airplane, and there's you know, only 2 airplanes on the map, then that's an extra 2 players. So that's now we're up to 14 players. And then adding the other 4 players that can be in the airship, that's 18 players, not including, you know, people running around in the little torpedo boat. So, you know, you have more than half the players can be in vehicles. So when it comes to the infantry players on the map, if you have your team and the enemy team kind of neutralizing each other with the boats, I mean, you're only dealing with whatever, like 16 or so players left as infantry players on the map. And, you know, if you have that elite class of the Villaparosa, I mean, it's not the, you know, MG08 where you can just kind of lay down this almost infinite fire down on players and take out a bunch of them. But that's still, you know, not as many as you would normally have to deal with on maybe a pure infantry mode map. So that was definitely kind of would have been interesting in the elite class. It might have been the reason why they might have taken it off. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really looked into it to see why that is not on the map as of right now. But that would have definitely been a very dominant elite class on this map. So you see my teammate over there dropping his flare. They're trying to cap D over here. This is actually where the elite class spawns, up here in the light tower. And yeah, something you do probably would want to do, in my opinion, is you would want to probably grab the elite classes on this map. Just even you know, considering we don't have the Villaparosa on here, you know, the tank hunter class and the infantry class are going to be pretty solid classes on this map. Whether you want to take out actual vessels or if you actually want to do some damage on infantry players yourself, I think either of these kits, you know, would do fare you a little bit better maybe than running around in your actual you know, basic classes that you can have. So one thing I have kind of picked up pretty quick, and that is you probably do want to roll around with this with an attack boat, because I'll tell you what, running through a lot of this stuff, especially this rocky terrain right here, is just, it's kind of not the best thing to run through in my opinion. So it would probably fare you better if you jump into a torpedo attack boat and kind of move yourself around the map like that. So it's kind of like how you're on Sinai, and Sinai's such a big map that you might want to get into an armored car and drive that around. It's kind of essentially the exact same way, but instead of you driving around a car, you drive around a boat. All you have to do is, you know, watch out for the destroyers and everything that could kind of take you out. But, you know, you kind of have to do the exact same way when you're playing on, you know, maps like Sinai. You have to deal with tanks and artillery trucks. So, you know, you're constantly dealing with, you know, different things that can take you out pretty quickly. So same thing goes with this stuff here. So now I got some ammo for this kit, so that's a little bit helpful, and I'm trying to, as much as I can, basically take out the boats, because, you know, that's really what they'll probably end up doing. If you know, take out the behemoths pretty quick, or if they're not in play as much, you got to watch out for those boats. They're going to want to push around the map and, you know, get behind you and start squad spawning their teammate across the map and start you know, deploying their teammates around the capture point and capping that area. So that's what I was kind of trying to do there. Unfortunately, they all kind of pop up out of nowhere here really quick. That's what's happening to me a lot actually today. I had a lot of times where people were just kind of showing up out of nowhere. So I don't know, I'm just getting kind of distracted with, you know, shooting all these vehicles. As you can see, I'm spending a lot of time here. Just again, I just shot every vehicle that I saw, even though knowing that it's going to take a lot of ammo to go do it. I was just, you know, experimenting to see what I could do. As this airship is showing up right here. I just want to watch out for that one cannon that's on the airship. It can definitely do some pretty decent damage on it if it gets a good shot onto you. So, but he's, I think, a little bit, or I'm a little bit out of his sight, so I think I'm going to be good right here. Now this is when I start getting a little bit of trouble here, when I start seeing the enemy team start to show up on the actual capture point. Like he books it right here though. Look how quick that moved. That's pretty impressive. To kind of see the speed on that. So still not sure about the airship. It still feels very much you know, like a paper airplane, and it just easily can just be taken out. So I'm not quite sure about it still. I mean, it is nice to have it on the map, you know, but is it going to be anything that's going to do anything? I really don't know. I don't see that happening, but, you know, I haven't really had a chance to really try to, you know, see what I can do with it. So I'd be curious to see what the rest of the community can do with it, maybe what the meta is for that, and so probably keep an eye out for that, see if someone can make that happen. Because, you know, there's always these little things that you can have and little techniques that you can do that can even favor things that might not be the best things on the map, that you can still make do with it. So you know, I don't throw it out completely, but at the same time, I think the armor probably could use a little bit of a buff on it. I'm not sure if they have even introduced a buff already onto it already, so I haven't really seen anything about that. It doesn't feel like it is. I mean, I'm still getting shot out pretty quick. But if it has, then wow, you know, then it could use probably a little bit more of another buff. But for the most part, I think there's a lot of concern with the airplanes on this map. and I wasn't really doing with anything too much with airplanes. Like I was saying earlier in the video, that it's mainly, you know, just a bunch of boats on the map, and that's definitely what it feels like. And it doesn't feel, I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed with it either, but it feels like definitely you get a good weight of boat gameplay, which was kind of a little bit what they kind of weren't trying to do. I think originally they stated that they wanted to do, you know, basically 33% of it, you know, would be boat gameplay, 33% would be infantry, then another 33% would be, you know, the air gameplay. But, you know, that extra 1% right there, I don't think went to the boats. I think it's a little bit more, you could say probably like, you know, 45% I would say it's boat gameplay. Definitely feels a little bit more than that, which is fine. I'm cool with that. That's definitely what I wanted. But then again, that's not just saying that's exactly how that is. I mean, it's maybe just because maybe I was playing a lot of the boats today, so it kind of felt like that. But, you know, the impact that these vehicles are going to have on the map, I think is going to play somewhat. And I think it will play a little bit more than that kind of third or 33% amount of that in the gameplay. Just because, I mean, look at where I'm at right now. I'm able to be in the capture zone if I want to on all these vehicles, and you know, that's the nice part. I thought that was the big part right there, was to make sure you could take the vehicles and put it into the capture zone. I think that's the reason why, if there's one class I have barely touched at all throughout the whole game so far, that is the pilot class, and this is mainly because I can't get on the actual capture zone when I'm on it. So that's always kind of discouraged me from getting onto that class, and I'll maybe get to it one day. But you know, it's nice to see, though, at least for the boats on this map, that you can actually get onto the capture zone and actually be effective doing that. And so that is definitely, I think, the big improvement on these on this map specifically, is to be able to actually have your boats be able to cap the territories in themselves. So I think that's what leans it on there to make it a little bit more boat-centric gameplay. So that was definitely exciting. I'm gonna get shot here from the side because they can loop around this sunken submarine that's right here, and I always keep forgetting that they can always kind of move around that. So there's a lot of things on the map, little turns here and there, and little angles that you can take to, you know, give you that little advantage that you just kind of learn over time and get a good game sense on the map. So yeah, we'll see how it turns out from here. Definitely excited for the map, though. You know, by far, I definitely gonna think it's gonna be a pretty fun map. It's definitely a different type of, you know, play style a little bit, but we'll see what shows up and kind of how the meta of this map turns out here in the future. But that's it for you guys today, though. I appreciate you guys being here. I am Living, and I will catch you guys again later. Peace.